Hi, this is Rick with Timberwolf Guitar Company. And today we're talking with Jack Steiner in the evaluation room of our shop. Hi, Jack.
Hey, how you doing, Rick?
Good. Do you remember your first instrument?
Yes, I do. My first instrument was an $80 Silvertone I got off the wall at a Willis Music. I begged my mom for it. She so bad wanted to. She was like, "Oh, I want to see if if you're really into it." So she made me wait months. I think I waited 3 months, and every day I would watch videos of different guitar players. But it was when I finally got it, I was so excited. I got it for Christmas when I was 12 years old, and I destroyed the instrument. I ripped out the neck and middle pickup, so it only had a bridge pickup. What else? Gosh, I put stickers all over the guitar. I completely ruined it. And
do you still have it?
You know what? It's somewhere. It is. I do. It's I think it's in a storage bin or it's somewhere. Definitely.
When did you determine that music was going to be your profession?
Well, when I was when I got my guitar, I was 12 years old, and I was a hermit. I locked myself in my room, and I was one of those kids that would play 8 hours a day. But after my first gig, I was pretty much sold. My first gig, I was 13 years old, and I played for actually a school dance in front of like 500 of the students, and it was a great time. And ever since then, I was hooked. Never looked back.
Did you obtain any formal music education, or are you self-taught?
You know what? I was self-taught for about 4 years, and then I finally picked up a teacher. His name was Max Guys, excellent teacher down in Cincinnati, and he really taught me a lot about technique and the little nuances, little things I hadn't even thought of at that point. He really got me into shape. After that, a really good buddy of mine, Brandon Coleman, who's also a Timberwolf artist, showed me a lot of really nice things that I'd never thought of, a bunch of outside ideas and really some really cool concepts that I had never explored.
So you spent a lot of time when you were younger just trying things?
Oh yeah, lots of time trying things, and I would learn scales and theory on my own. The computer was my best friend at that point, and I could, for all of that, and I just, I pretty much got on the internet, and anything I wanted to learn, I typed in on YouTube, and it was right there for me.
Do you have a fantasy car?
Oh, fantasy car, yes. I would, you know what, actually, any European car would do for me. I'm not too picky.
How about a Yugo?
A Yugo? Oh, well.
Almost any European.
Yeah, almost any European car. We'll stay away from those.
Do you remember your first recording session?
Oh, yes, I do. My first recording session, I was 14 years old. I was in a really nice studio called Group Efforts off of the Buttermilk exit in northern Kentucky, and I was sick as a dog. I was, we had booked the studio months in advance, and we couldn't change the day, and I had strep throat, and after every song I felt worse and worse, and I think that day we planned on cutting 20 tracks, and after about 17 of them I was almost falling over, and I went to the doctor right after that, had a fever of 102, and it was took a week to recover, but yeah, that was my first studio experience.
How did it turn out?
You know what, it turned out okay. You could definitely tell that that I was getting progressively sicker, because by the end my guitar solos were noise, but other than that, it was the first part turned out great.
What do you do in your spare time, hobbies or anything like that?
In my spare time, I like to travel a lot. I like to travel. I also like to, music's always there. I'm always practicing, always constantly trying to better myself so most of the time I'm playing or I'm practicing or doing something that involves music. But when I'm not, I like to travel. I like to travel. I like to go on walks, and that's about it.
Okay. If you could jam with anybody, alive or not, who would it be?
Jam with anybody, alive or not? You know what? I would love to sit in a room with Pat Metheny and jam with Pat Metheny for. I would love to do that. I'm also Also a big fan of a lot of studio musicians. So I'm a guy like Tim Pierce. I would love to sit in a room with him and pick his mind. Yeah, those are probably the two guys I would like to sit with most.
You seem to play a lot of different styles of music. How do you handle the transition from one to the other?
I feel like as a musician, it's our jobs to just play our roles, and sometimes what I try and do is I try and play my role completely. So for instance, if I'm playing with a country band, I try and sound like a country guitarist. I'll go out of my way to change my pedal setup, change the way I EQ my amp, and I'll just completely play the role. Whereas if I'm playing one of my original gigs or a more pop oriented gig, I'll set up for that and I'll play like a pop guitarist.
So you don't have any style issues at all going from one to the other?
You know what? For a long time I did. What I would try and do is I would try and go in and play jazz licks over a pop tune, or voice, maybe do some jazz voicings on places where they didn't belong. And after some trial and error, I slowly realized all I needed to do was just play my role in whatever musical act I was employed to play.
Do you have a favorite comfort food?
Favorite comfort food? I'm a pizza fiend. I eat pizza like it's I eat pizza all the time. So I probably have pizza 3 to 4 times a week, and
wow.
I'd say that's my favorite comfort food. Yeah, way too much.
All right, funny or humorous stories while you've been performing?
While I've been performing, there was one instance in particular that was pretty funny. I was at a music festival with Don't Fear the Satellites, and there was a guy, I guess, out in the audience that hippie. I guess he had eaten too much something. He had way too much of something, and during the set, this guy was running around, and they tackled him and had to drag him out of the gig, or had to drag him out of the festival in an ambulance, and it was pretty surreal. Other things that have happened. There have been many times where I have not had my guitar plugged in and not realized it. That's happened to me a few times. And what else? Yeah, those are probably the funniest.
Okay. Where would you like to see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I would love to be. That's a really good question. I would love to be comfortable. I would like to be able to not have to worry about anything bill-wise. I would like to be playing music 100% of the time and be immersed in whatever I'm doing, and hopefully be doing something that I'm proud of musically, but also can make a decent living doing.
Do you see that as something you can do out of Cincinnati?
Yes, definitely out of it's. I feel like getting out of Cincinnati is it's definitely one of my short-term goals, because Cincinnati is, there's a great music scene in Cincinnati. It's wonderful, but at the same time, it's a little limiting in what you can do, and I feel like elsewhere there's a lot more work to be had.
Okay. Well, that's all I've got. So, Jack, thanks.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.